Great. All right. First off, welcome everybody to our annual membership meeting for the OPSIG. By our bylaws, we need to have it every July. I know the timing worked out a little funky this time, being on top of the end of the NMRA convention. However, with the timing of 4th of July and people going to the convention and commitments from the board members, this is the weekend that worked out the best. So we did get a few complaints. I know I'm not going to satisfy everybody, but this is how it's going to go. Um, so my agenda for today, we're going to do some introductions, do a president's report. We'll talk about the Bill Jewett Award winner. We'll do a quick view of the treasurer's report. We have some new initiatives we want to talk about, and then we'll have some opportunity for feedback and questions if we have time. I'm trying to keep this to an hour. Trying to be respectful of everybody's time. So here we go. I think we have all the members of the board of directors here. I'd like to introduce Steve Prevett, who is our newest member of the board of directors. I want to thank Eric Smith, who's rolled off the board, for all of his work. So welcome, Steve. I want to point out who the officers and staff are. So we've got John Swanson as treasurer. He's on. Eric's our dispatcher's office editor. He's also our webmaster. Phil is our donation coordinator. Eric Kerr, election coordinator. Jeff Yost is membership. And then Al Frasch is managing our back issue collection. So what have we done lately? The annual filing with the state of Connecticut is complete. So we have an annual requirement based on we're registered with the state of Connecticut. So there's an annual requirement for me to fill out an annual report. It was really just an update of the board of directors and the officers. And then a special thank you to Mark Herrick. State of Connecticut requires that we have an agent representing the OPSIG that lives within the state. And Mark has very graciously done this now. I think this is his second or third year. So thank you, Mark. We did have officer elections last month. We had a board meeting, and the proposal was to keep the same slate that we've been going with. So that was agreed upon and voted upon. I think we ended up at 5-0. So I continue as president, Paul continues as vice president, Jeff continues as secretary, and John Swanson continues as treasurer. I think if John wanted to leave, we would all scream and beg John to keep that role. So thank you for that. Membership. So last year I showed a chart showing our membership, and here's the current membership. As of July of this year, we're 1332, so we remain in the 1300 plus level. That fluctuates. I know we're projected to be down a little bit in October, but that also picks up to close the gap because renewal notices go out. Eric's been really diligent about keeping the renewal notices going, and the folks tend to flow in. What our membership types look like we're now 71% electronic and 29 print. That's a 2% shift over last year to electronic. So we continue to see the shift. The electronic delivery of the dispatcher's office is our lowest overhead model. Although folks still like to get the print copy, and that's great. No problems with that for us. The Bill Jewett Award. So Bill Jewett was a longtime member of the OPSIG and an avid operator. He revived the OPSIG in '97 and ran it for almost 10 years. Not only constantly promoting the organization to events, but also editing, producing the journal, The Dispatcher's Office. Bill passed away unexpectedly in January of 2006, and a fund was created from proceeds from Bill's railroad to fund the Bill Jewett Award. The award is given annually to those who promote and contribute the OPSIG. Goals of promoting the art of prototype model railroad operations. In the winter, earlier this year, the board voted, it used to just be a $250 award. We agreed to up that to $500 and then additional $250 to a railroad-related organization that the winner gets. I'll do the finance numbers a little bit later, but we're very, very healthy, and we have very low operating costs. So it seemed about time to do that. And the nomination must be an OPSIG member, and current board members are not eligible. So As of July 1st, we transitioned to the new board. So that leads us to who our winner of the 17th annual Bill Jewett Award, and that is Eric Smith. I had to hold Eric's arm behind his back for him to accept it, but I think all of you would agree that Eric's contributions have been Herculean towards the OPSIG. He's been the editor for a very long time. He's our webmaster. He also did coordinated all the virtual meetings that happened during COVID, and that was a tremendous success. He posts the recordings of all of our meetings and gets it on the web. So Eric, thank you very much for all your contributions to the OPSIG. It's been Herculean. So I truly appreciate that.
I appreciate it. And just for everybody's knowledge, the $250 went to the Purdue University Railroad Club. I was a member there. It's also had some far more famous alumni, such as I think Tony Custer is probably the most well-known alumni at this point, but he's not the only one. So I appreciate the award, regardless of the arm twisting.
Well, congratulations. Well deserved. So the treasurer's report. John Swanson, do you want to elaborate on any of this? I saw John on.
Mute. Here we go. I'm here.
Oh, great.
And no, I don't. I'll answer any questions. But as you said, we're in great shape with about 100 and I have a copy in front of me I can read. $158,778 dollars in our account. So we're in good shape.
We're very healthy. Thank you again, John, for all the work that you do.
And if anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'll be happy to answer any questions regardless. Just let me know.
Great. Thank you, John. Okay, so with that, we'll talk about new initiatives. So I'm leading a committee to update the bylaws. They were last revised in 2022. There are a few things that need to get changed, in my opinion, or updated. Revisions are in progress, but I'll take responsibility for blowing it. That the sub-team didn't meet enough, and by our current bylaws, any bylaw changes have to be approved in the annual membership meeting, which is this meeting, and we have to give everybody at least 60 days notice of what those changes are prior to the meeting. So we were not ready in time, so this will be a goal for 2026 to get that. There's a few tweaks in there, and we've had a couple of meetings about it. Those will continue. But I wanted to at least let you know that we're looking at the bylaws, and I take responsibility for it not happening this time around. We also launched an OPSIG Facebook group in March of this year. When I wrote the slide, we had 753 members. I think it's now 754 or 55 in the last 24 hours. Which you have a lot of rich content, some very active participation. We're seeing a lot of ops session photos. I know I've been trying to post pictures from my ops sessions as they happen. I just did session 364 this past week. We're getting some really good feedback. We also realize that not everyone is on Facebook, and sorry about that, but we wanted to get a social media presence out there that everybody could see. We don't have an illusion that we're going to be pulling in the 16, 17, 18-year-olds because they're generally on Instagram or other formats, but we are seeing a lot of good participation. If you don't want to be on Facebook, totally get it. There were concerns that this would take away from the railway industry ops groups.io group, and I think the volume bumped a little bit, but I think it's back to about the same normal volume. You do see a difference in content. So the feedback from those who are participating on the site has been very, very good. I want to thank Paul Weiss for championing this initiative. I think it's turned out to be good. Our existing Facebook page that we have for the OPSIG is going to stay. The big difference between the group and the page is that the page is static. Any content being added has to be approved by the site owner, which is Eric. I'm actually Eric's backup on that as well. Whereas on the Facebook group, it's more interactive. So it's a bit of a change, but I think we're seeing some very good activity. The next new initiative is we're going to be redoing or publishing another version of 19 East Copy 3. Phil Monat is leading that effort, along with collaboration from Tony Thompson. Target availability is roughly October of this year. We had the last board meeting, we talked about it and approved the initiative. Some of the authors want to update a little bit of the content or add some tweaks to it. So that's in process right now. We're going to make it a hardcover version. The price is still to be determined, but it should not be significantly different than what it was previously. And there'll be member and non-member pricing. So the OPSIG members will get a little bit of a discount over what the street price is. So we should have more info coming. We'd like to get the advertisement out in the October edition of the Dispatcher's Office. It's really all about the timing, and we need to have another board meeting to make a couple more decisions. So I think this is a big deal. There's a lot of demand for folks that didn't get the book previously. So we're going to be moving forward with that. Al Dallman has put together for us a consolidated ops weekend calendar. So many of us participate in ops weekends across the country, and we really don't have a single reference place to see what those events are, what the cadence of those events. And so Al put this together, and so it's organized right now by month and year, and I'm going to have to put my glasses on so I can read it. It's month, what the week of it is, or what the week of the month. Years are, is it ad hoc? Is it even years, odd years? What's the event? What region of the country is it in? What the city and state? When is the next event, and the invitation types. So you'll notice that many of them are open invitation. There are a few that require regional coordinators, and then there are a couple of closed events. That's just the nature of the beast. Al's been working with the folks that are responsible for the events to make sure that we could represent them appropriately. But this will be we'd like to get this onto the OPSIG website so that members can view this and have a single place that they can have a picture of all the operating events for roughly the next year or year and a half to 2 years. So I want to thank Al for the work that he's done. He's done a real heavy lift. He spent a lot of time coordinating with the different organizers of the events, and hopefully everybody will find this as a value add tool for them, especially if they're going to be planning or traveling around the country. Maybe they can arrange their trip so that they're able to attend these events. Al, did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
No, I think you pretty much summarized it. We'll continue to update if we get information on new events, and there's a groups IO for that most of the coordinators are on, and we have a different format of this so that they can see how to avoid stepping on each other. We have a good problem in that there's a lot of events, and I don't know that anybody can make all of them, but in particular in a certain region of the country, you want to try to not only avoid stepping on it, but try to keep them from being 2 weekends in a row. But again, I really thank the ops coordinators who've been pestered with emails from me. Hopefully it's useful. So thanks again.
Well, Al, also, if you don't mind me stepping in, we have a question in the chat about why we included the closed events. And this is something we talked about at great length amongst us, of course. The closed events are primarily there because to make this a planning tool, ops coordinators may need to know that there's a competing event, even if it's closed. Is that a good way to say it, Al? You're muted. But I
Yeah,
think
yes. Yeah, no, that's a good way. And we'll see. I attempted to put a very short description at the bottom that gives maybe some new folks what open registration versus open invitation is. And closed event is, that was a discussion with those particular events. And we thought it was worthwhile listing them. And if somebody has any questions, you can contact me offline.
And I
Is
think
there
it
a
should,
reason you didn't include Bay Rails?
URL should have been, was on there.
I think this whole thing is a work in progress. There's several other ones that Al's muted at the moment, but
Oh, sorry.
once it's up, the existing calendar that's on the site that unfortunately we stopped getting updates for will replace that page with what Al's working on. So
Yeah, Tony, the reason Bay Rails isn't on there, this is only the next 18 months. We have there's a Google Meets spreadsheet that has all the events on it, and Bay Rails is on there, but we're only doing the next 18 months for now. But it's on the spreadsheet. And we can include the next, 2027 or the first half of 2027 as well, if folks want to. We're just trying to keep it to one page, but that's a good point. It's easy enough to add.
I have a question, if you don't mind me interrupting for a second. I'm Bob Forrester. I do the NRA.org chart, and I understand that some of this is invitation only, but someone from your group, please send me whatever you want to be posted in our the MRA.org calendar, if it's helpful to get people to come to this event or events other than just someone's home that's only 4 or 5 people are invited to, if that
Yeah,
is not all possible. And I put in the chat room my email address.
Okay, yeah, we can do that. This is specifically for operating events or weekend events, so not somebody's regular op sessions that are going on, monthly. Eric has a website for that, the opsessions.com is geared for that. And this is also very important tool for the coordinator so that they can make sure, ideally, that they're not creating a new event that's on the same weekend as an existing event. Now, we already have a few events where we have collisions, and that's going to happen. I think I'll put in the fine print there that December and June and July, or July and August, are typically gaps where we don't have many events, and then October, November seem to load up a little bit.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
Whatever you want to send me is fine. That's all I'm just saying is I'm not being pushy. Just I want to represent the ops group too on the calendar, and it's not being done. I can tell you that for sure for the last 7 or 8 years when I've been involved with it. So, and Speed asked me to get more people active on it. So, thank you.
Sure, you bet. All right. So next up is going to be Paul Weiss to talk about our OPSIG achievement program.
I keep trying to type a comment and it
Just muted. Oh, go ahead, Brian.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you?
Yes. Well, now you're muted again.
okay. So should we go forward?
Paul. Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Paul.
Obviously, if Brian has a question, we can receive it later on.
Yeah. Regarding the 26, the ops session listing, is there a way, should the national ops at the national convention be included? So we don't plan on top of that?
We can certainly add that.
Okay, I'll forward that to you guys, the dates.
Okay. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, take it away, Paul.
My pleasure. Thanks so much. It's an exciting moment for us to this evening announce what's been teased all along, our OPSIG achievement program. This is an idea that first bubbled up well over a year ago, and quite a number of people have been working on making this come to this moment. We're live as of right now, and I'd love to spend the following few minutes going through some of the details of the program that haven't been revealed so far, more information about some of the people that are involved, and more information about how to get involved if you choose to. I will say that there will probably be plenty of questions. We're going to try to accommodate all those questions. It's very difficult while I'm speaking for me to monitor the chat. So if it's possible to save your questions to the end, that would be great. And it'll give me an opportunity to launch in and keep my momentum going all the way through. So Rick, go ahead. You're changing the slides. We'll have to do it this way. So the OPSIG Achievement Program, what it is, it's intended to be an enjoyable and rewarding program combining education and experience. It is a educational program, and that's a very important part of this and may make it slightly different from other programs. No one is judging anybody. We're just encouraging more learning, more involvement within the operating community. All of us who have helped design this program are members of our community. It's by our community, for our community. And some of the keywords we use are learning fun, recognition of some of the accomplishments that people have made, encouraging newbies to have an on-ramp into doing some of these things, and actually building yet another aspect of our very robust community. Go ahead, Rick. What it isn't, as I mentioned, there's no subjective judging here. We certainly don't want to get to create any kind of impression that your friends and colleagues are judging your work or anything like that. There's a little bit of that around our dispatcher award, which we'll talk about in a second. But again, we're looking at this as an educational program. For myself, as part of the design team in putting this together, I learned a lot just from having the chance to review some of the stuff. And that's really what we have in mind. We're gonna learn, and if you choose to learn more, come along. But the success that you may have in the achievement program is really entirely or largely in your own hands. Another keyword that we've used often in designing the program is licensing. We are not licensing people. These are not prototype situations, of course. As I say down at the bottom of the slide, model railroad operating is fun. We are just encouraging people to learn more about jobs that they may fill at an operating session and some of the different roles, and we'll talk about all those in some detail on the slides ahead. Go ahead, Rick. The program has what we hope will be 13 areas of achievement and recognition. I'm going to go through each one. It is for OPSIG members only, which is not a high bar considering it's one of the great values in model railroading at $10 a year. But OPSIG members, you can choose to pursue one or two of them if you want. You can pursue as many, all 13 if you want. The highest level of achievement that we're promoting is 8 of the 13 completed, and we've nicknamed that the Operations Ninja, and we have some collateral materials surrounding that, and that's created some buzz already that we're pretty excited about. Go ahead, Rick. These are what the awards themselves look like. There's buttons and a certificate. This one is mocked up, and we'll talk more about the Key Helper certificate when we get there. There's a pretty cool, colorful array of buttons that we think some people will be happy to sport. That slide sort of speaks for itself. So next slide, Rick. And this is the Operations Ninja logo. Those who achieve the highest level, the Operations Ninja at 8 awards, will receive an embroidered patch, a special certificate, and maybe an additional gift as well. Quite a number of people have been involved in designing the program. We have a board of trustees to oversee what we're doing. These are names that you know, people that you've operated with. It's a tremendous body of work from these people in their lives, and we're overjoyed to have their involvement. They've been everything from extremely involved to involved on a passing basis. But we're very proud to have assembled this group of industry influencers and knowledge leaders to help contribute to our program. The board of directors has been very supportive and created the budget necessary to get us started, and also other people have been contributing, and more contributors are actually joining every day, including one today. So go ahead, Rick. The website is live and active. You can go there right now. I wouldn't mind if you wait till after the call. opsig-ap.org. has more detail than I will give you today on each of these achievement areas. Also, there's an application for each of these achievement areas and a number of other resources and things that you can take advantage there at the website. So I'm going to go through these one by one and just give you the quick overview. You'll get a sense and you'll have your own reaction to each one. But overall, the theme here has been to recognize the work that many people have already done in the hobby and give newbies, as I've mentioned, an on-ramp and some goals that they can set for themselves in getting more involved. The Conductor and Engineer Achievement Award is the first of the 13, and it requires the applicant to have served in this capacity at an operating session, at 10 different operating sessions, spanning at least 3 model railroads. Does that mean that the person who receives the award is absolutely a fantastic, highly skilled conductor and engineer? We don't know. It depends on how they are as people and how they've used their time. The point being that the award is meant to acknowledge that many of us have already done this 10 times or more, and many of us have not. So to acknowledge the existing body of work of some people, as well as giving people a goal who haven't done it that often. We did decide in this one area to add some gravitas to it, that there will be a comprehensive exam that covers some rules around train movements, whistles, forms, timetables, schedules, all the various things that one would need to know or would benefit from knowing if they act as a conductor and engineer on a model railroad in an operating session. We also fully acknowledge is a committee that's writing the exam. It's not quite complete yet. We hope to have it ready in 45 to 60 days. That prototypes differ, and we're designing an exam that is appropriate, that's agnostic. It will be a challenge, perhaps, to people who are new at this, and it might be very easy to people who consider themselves to be experts. But again, we want to acknowledge that people will get a study guide, they'll do the work, they'll pass the exam, they'll have been a conductor and engineer 10 times, and that's a pretty good body of work. So that's number one. Rick? The Boomer Award is for those of us who have made the trip at least 3 times to an operating weekend somewhere away from home. This is more of a participation award than an achievement. We fully recognize that, but we want to encourage people to go out and go to some of these operating weekends and see what it's like. Of course, some of us have done 50, 100 or more of these, and others haven't. They haven't had the opportunity, they haven't had the desire, and we're hoping to provide sort of the spark for participation in operating weekends. Rick? The Dispatcher Award, obviously people immediately make the comparison to what the NMRA is doing with their Chief Dispatcher Certificate as part of the MMR program. I do want to say globally that we love the MMR program, think the world of it. It's a long-standing, iconic program. We don't compete with that. We don't second guess that. That's model railroading. And we're very specific to the operating hobby, which is different. The one place where the two happen to meet is in this dispatcher category. According to us, the dispatcher achievement is demonstrating competency and experience on 3 different layouts and at least 3 different operating types. In that circumstance, the person has done the work and shown that they can serve as a dispatcher. It still is true that we are not turning out licensed, killer dispatchers who could work on the prototype or anything like that. We're recognizing and acknowledging the people that have done it and creating a pathway for people to consider doing it if they haven't in the past. Go ahead, Rick. The Yardmaster Achievement, also very similar. If you've acted as a Yardmaster on 3 different model railroads, we consider that to be an achievement, and that's the prerequisite for the Yardmaster Award. We really want to acknowledge, partly because I like these jobs, the importance of the supporting roles that exist in some railroads at some operating sessions, the clerks, the agents, and the operators who sit there doing their thing. Increasingly, I'm finding that on our layout here in Northern California, We encourage people to be operators. They're reluctant at first, and many of them fall in love with it. So we really want to create an achievement, recognizing the body of work again of people who have done it often and encouraging people to take on those jobs as they will hopefully here to get the award on 3 different operating sessions. Also, recognizing what it is to be a host. And again, we have this category where some of us have done it many times and some of us are still reluctant. If you've been a host for 5 different operating sessions, we acknowledge that not everybody has a layout and maybe it's a club where you're doing it. But either way, what could be better for our hobby than hosting and encouraging people to host more and recognizing those people who have done it at least 5 times? Rick? The traffic manager, it's an awkwardly named award. We admit we've gone through many names for this, but the importance of, for a great operating session, as we all know, the importance of a great scheme and designing on the larger layouts, a flow of traffic and a reason for traffic to flow and the backbone and infrastructure around getting traffic to flow. We use JMRI operations in our layout here, and it's been a lot of work, a lot of customizing. We have waybills, we have string charts, we have schedules, we have staging plans, we have car movement schemes, all this stuff that really is a very important part of a successful layout. Hopefully we've done it well. Hopefully many other layouts have done it well also. We want to recognize the effort and the knowledge that's necessary to be a traffic manager. And here we're expecting that you've done it for 2 different layouts to qualify for this award. Rick? The author, I'm happy to say, may include print media or video or what have you, but the idea is that of a communicator and acknowledging the body of work and also encouraging people to communicate about our hobby. It might be articles or videos about their layout. We're leaning into the operations aspect of it. But either way, it's something that's widely distributed, that furthers our hobby, worth recognizing and worth awarding. Rick? Same thing for the clinician. Many of us have done it many times. Others are still reluctant. If you've done 3 live clinics to a live audience, it may be in person, you may be on a panel, you may be on a Zoom call, who knows? But you've gone and you've written something, you've told a story, and you're focusing on the operations aspect of it. We want to encourage and award that here with the Clinician Award. Volunteers, we all know how hard it is to volunteer, how difficult it would be to pull off any of these operating events that we like going to without the hard work of the people behind the scenes, and we really wanted to acknowledge them. If you've been a helper or organizer for 3 major operating events, we consider you to be an achievement-worthy volunteer. Also, to the extent that you have served or are serving on an organization like OPSIG or something where, you know, it's central to the operations hobby, we'll give you credit for that too. We want to encourage participation and we want to encourage volunteering and all the hard work that those guys do. Next. Mentor's a tricky one to capture, but this too is so important. And so many of us have a story about somebody who mentored us to get us into operations or get us through our first operating session. And I'm very grateful to my mentors. And here I am now, years later, mentoring other people. We're encouraging mentorship. And really, mentorship in this case is, you know, for an operating session on 3 occasions that you will be available to somebody who is new. This might be that you're teamed up on a train, you're the conductor and they're the engineer, but a focus of your day is to make sure they have a good experience and to make sure that they want to come back. So far, my track record and everyone I've heard of finds that it's 100% want to come back because our hobby is so compelling. But yes, we want to encourage this, award it, and recognize those mentors who have spent the time, in this case, in 3 different occasions. And now for something completely different. The Key Helper Award is going to be handled different from all the others because I know on my layout and I know on a number of your layouts that are bigger than one person can service and run on their own, there are those key people who have stood up, and they're always there. They're always there, happy to fix. They're always there, happy to clean track the week before. They're happy to stand there at a session and do whatever. We've done it. Those of us who have hosted sessions, we know we rely on those people. When we go to sessions, you can see them standing around, eager to help. The Key Helper Award is awarded by layout hosts, not by us. And from layout hosts, we want to hear who you consider your key lieutenants to be. They don't need to be OPSIG members, but of course, maybe on getting the award, they will want to become OPSIG members. That's not the motive here. The motive here is to acknowledge those people that are so unselfishly giving their time to somebody else's layout. So we'll talk more in other forums about how this works, but I'm sure many of you who are on the call can already think of people that you'd love to have so awarded. And they will get the button, they will get the certificate, and they will be one achievement award closer to being ninjas if they choose. So we're excited about that. Finally, it's only number 13 here because this is still in play, and I don't want to get ahead of our current hope and intention to joint venture this 13th achievement with the LDC. Their board has not approved this, but I've been in close touch with them, and many of the key directors there have said it's okay to go ahead and talk about it. The reason why we want to do this specific to operations is that a great track plan is not necessarily a great operations track plan. And those of us who go to operating sessions all the time know that there are many elements that go into the design of the railroad and the design of the room to make it a pleasant experience. And if you're doing Tehachapi Loop and it's fantastic, but there's not a great switching opportunity and the aisles are 13 inches wide, it's a problem. So in collaborating with the LDC, we're going to encourage the submission of what's hopefully an original track plan or a heavily modified track plan that meets all of the key elements that the LDC has mandated may make up a good layout. Some of these designs may never get built, but the intention is for people to really get sensitive to the push me, pull you difficulties in designing a successful layout. I know that on our layout here in California, wide aisles were very important to me as a design element. And people will often kind of wonder why the room feels different. And I point out the width of the aisles in some cases, and they say, oh, they have a bit of a aha moment on how important that is. So really encouraging, amateur designers to understand those key elements. Again, this isn't official yet. If you have friends and relations in the LDC, please tell them you're in favor of this if you are. But we do anticipate a favorable outcome, and we do anticipate this will be the 13th of our awards. Okay, that's it. We're live literally right now. So the website is up. If you were so inclined, you could make a submission tonight, and operators are on duty, as they say, and we'll try to turn it around. We are a thinly staffed volunteer organization, so if there's an initial rush, we'll do our best. We communicate very well, but some of the fulfillment and some of the acknowledgement may take a little bit of time. And also, it's a complicated program with a lot of features to it. So much like we just looked at the calendar together and had a couple of observations, people will have observations about the program or special circumstances or whatever. I will say that, in closing, one of the things that's really important is our point of view, if you will, or the gestalt surrounding the program. We don't take ourselves too seriously. We're enjoying this. We think this is going to be enjoyable. And if you've got a story or a circumstance that you believe warrants getting credit, we'd love to hear about it. The rules are guidelines. They're not rigid. And we are encouraging inclusion and participation and positivity, primarily because, again, the takeaway should be this is for education. Those who don't want to participate and don't want to play, that's completely fine. But please know that that's why we're here, and providing an on-ramp for relatively less experienced people is a very important part of it as well. And I think that's it, Rick. So I'll hand it back to you, and we'll see if we have questions or want to handle them separately.
All right, well, thank you, Paul. I got a last couple slides, and I think that we'll just open the floor up for questions. So I will point out that the rules exam that will be in C&E is still under development. We're close, but they're still under development. The program's gotten where we've talked to folks about it offline, had a lot of positive feedback, and I think Paul's done a great job in leading this effort. So thank you, Paul, for that. So the board would also like your feedback. You know, what ideas or needs do you have the board can try to address in the next 12 months? How do you expand your base of operators? How can we help you? You can email the board at opsig, board@groups.io. You can email me directly at president@opsig.org.
Hey, Rick,
And
just
then,
to clarification, you cannot, that OPSIG board email,
oh,
that is a groups.io address for only people who are on the board. So they
oh,
just need
okay.
to email you directly.
Great. I'll take all the emails. Perfect. Thanks, Eric. Just a few pages to note. Our website, opsig.org. We have the Facebook group, OPSIG. We have the YouTube channel that this presentation will be saved to. Our Facebook group that I talked about earlier, and then some key contacts for folks. So with that, we'll open it up to questions.
Actually, I need a minute there, Rick.
Sure.
As you may or may not know, continue as the editor of the dispatcher's office. However, I'm the cat wrangler. I get articles fed into our publisher, who's been doing a great job for us over the past few years. However, I don't write the articles. For the most part, I need people to contribute articles on a regular basis. I try to ask for them every time. We do have a number of people who contribute, but we need more. I'd like to have, I'm far happier if I've got 1 or 2 issues worth of articles in the pipeline. I don't have that right now. In the chat, I've dropped in a link for the submission guidelines. If you've got an idea for something related to operations, and we've done stuff about, every type of card operating system you could come up with, dispatcher or JMRI, people who've talked about signaling, talked about using, how do they use sound decoders, to better enhance the operations flow. Pretty much if it's operations or even remotely related to operations, we'll publish it. If you are a real railroader, I was not, many of you people are, stories from, actually working the railroad. We've had a couple of good articles about that. So if you have questions, editor@opsig.org will get to me. If you say, oh, can I write an article about this? Yeah, generally the answer is yes. The link that I put in the chat just goes through some real simple things about pictures and how to submit it, but I'm more than happy to work with you. But like I said, the DO is only as good as the articles that you are all submitting. A quick reminder, one, if you are writing articles for the NMRA Achievement Program, we count as a regional publication. So that's 2 points a page. Obviously, if you want to get into the OPSIG Achievement Program, articles you write for the DO will also count for the author credential. And I'm happy to sign off on whatever paperwork you need for NMRA. In addition, every article, if you submit an article, we will extend your subscription by a free issue, or we'll send you a print copy suitable for framing, putting up on your I Love Me wall. But just as we don't pay for articles, which means if you've written an article for somebody who did pay you, we cannot use that under copyright law. However, if it was in your local regional publication, your division publication, and you didn't get paid for it, we can republish it. And Ray, if you have a operations related dessert, I would be more than happy to publish it. So. All right. So that's the end of the begging. Like I said, we've got a lot of far more knowledge than I have, and we'd love to share it. So talk to me at editor@opsig.org. Thanks.
Thanks, Eric. Yeah, and I encourage everybody to think about that. If you have a concept, we have plenty of people that are willing to help you with the article if you don't feel comfortable crafting that article yourself. So you can reach out to me or Eric. Okay, well, shall we open it up for questions? I see there's a number of questions in the chat. Let's just go ahead and unmute everybody, Eric.
People can unmute
Or give
themselves
me-
at this point.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
I'll break the ice. This came home with me from the NMRA National Convention, and I've actually been sounding out the big words and learning a lot.
Excellent. I see a couple of comments. A crew lounge steward badge. Well, depends on who the crew lounge steward is. I don't think it's possibly a key helper if they're critical to the operating sessions happening. And then a group location to ask questions about the AP program. Paul, I think we have an email address for that, but maybe we want to should we spin up a Facebook site or a groups.io chat? We'll need to look at that.
Well, yes, and I think somebody was asking me a question about the email address, which I'm not sure I understood the question. It went by very quickly. It's in the case of the AP, it's a separate silo, so it's info@opsig-ap.org. That all goes to me, and I'll distribute accordingly and try to answer all the questions. We had talked about that if there's demand, we certainly could have a Zoom call that's just focused on the specifics of the program and Q&A. If people want that, everyone's always welcome to reach out to me. The first step is probably to delve into the website and see if that answers some questions. It like all of this is a work in progress, so you may or may not find that your questions are answered there. But I'd encourage all kinds of communication, and we'll set up whatever silos anybody may need to get us going and get us going well.
Paul, this is David Barrett. I made the comment that maybe it was a little bit confusing. It's just that your slide said .com, not .org on your info, your AP, OPSIG AP email.
Yeah, in the event I made a mistake, it's yes, absolutely wrong. It's .org, and that's an error I thought I had corrected. Thanks for pointing it out. But yes, .org. .com will just get bounced back. Nobody has that one.
Hey, Paul, I wonder if you might want to talk a little about, unless you did it in detail and I missed it, the philosophy behind the AP initially is maybe for the medium to more experienced operator. It's not Ops 101, but that doesn't mean new people can't get individual badges, but it's kind of a maybe not quite top down, but I wonder if you could maybe talk philosophically about the first part of how you want to get folks applying for the.
Well, perhaps the question is, if you don't mind me rephrasing it to make sure I understand what you want me to comment on, is who's the customer here?
Yeah.
Right. And we tried to design a program that is attractive to everybody, using the language I used a couple of times when I was presenting. Recognition of those people who have done a lot of this stuff, that they may well enjoy being recognized for their body of work. Also, the choice of 8 out of 13 to be a ninja probably means that even the most experienced among us don't just walk in and say, I've done all 8 of these things necessarily. So even those of us who have been doing this for a long time may find that there are areas that push them a little bit to achieving that ninja status, and they may be amused and enjoy getting that status. A couple of the real senior most of us that I've spoken to say, that's cool, I would like to do that, right? So too, do we have significant evidence that there are not only OPSIG members who are not yet fully up to speed on all this, but we have a significant number of people that are looking in the window that are interested in operations, and they haven't really had an opportunity to or reason to go forward and join and get involved. The program could, as you're pointing out, be an excellent way for a relative newcomer to say, hey, I would like to learn some of these different things and how to go about it and be recognized. And again, the rules exam, there will be a study guide, and we'll cover all kinds of things that are kind of cool to know. I'm a TT and TO guy, and I got into the draft of some of the signal stuff, and I'm like, well, I didn't know that. That's cool. How to use the horn, what the bell is for, all this stuff. Some of it is elementary, some of it less so. Some of the questions are hard, some of the questions are easy. But we think to the extent it's even possible, we can appeal to the wide range of customers. And there are always going to be people who enjoy and appreciate the challenge and the recognition. Like other programs like the MMR, it's not for everybody, and that's totally cool, right? We don't expect of our 1,350 some odd members that will turn out 1,220 ninjas, nothing like that. But if we had perhaps 20, 30% participation and a springboard, an on-ramp for people to come in and learn more, right? Then it's been a very successful program overall. And that's where we're really looking for encouragement and support, even for those of you who aren't going to embrace the opportunity to do it for yourselves, to encourage people to say, hey, take a look, you'll learn something, and you'll be pushed into some things like volunteering that maybe you haven't considered before. How's that? Did I answer it, Al?
Yes, that's great. Thanks, Paul.
Okay,
See
I
it.
have a comment and question for Paul.
certainly.
Paul Dave Gibbons here. I want to thank you, first of all, for the opportunity and honor of running on your layout under TT and TO. I learned a lot there.
However,
But-
you moved away, so but I guess it didn't go that well.
No, okay. I was escaping California, not your
Oh, okay.
layout.
Okay, fair
But
enough.
something you said during your presentation caught my ear. You said the operations hobby. And I was curious, you chose that instead of perhaps the operations aspect of the model railroading hobby.
Well, yes, it's semantics, but I view it as intimately related first cousin or sibling of model railroading, right? You can have a model railroad that doesn't have an operations component, and I don't mind aspect. I don't mind any of the language around it. I do believe that those of us who are totally smitten with this operations thing consider it to be a silo of its own. It doesn't mean in the Venn diagram, it doesn't operate materially. Even in the 10 minutes before our call got started, there was a robust conversation about track cleaning. So the two go hand in hand. That's true. But this deep dive into operations specific things, I think that's our purview, right? Just like the conversation earlier about having a calendar that's unique to us, but may overlap with the NMRA and what they want to do on their calendar side, because it's all very symbiotic, right? But there's an effort to say, hey, we're here, we're an important special interest group. We have a lot of people here who are very interested in the magazine and all the things that go along with it. And it's high time for us to be a little more present, a little more active, and maybe providing more services to our membership.
Got it. I will just add this last thing, which is from where I sit and having experienced operations now on various layouts, model railroading is the first stage of the rocket. If it blows up on the pad, it's a stinker trying to get operations going.
Yeah.
And so I see it as a foundational element that you then, with a good, well put together model railroad that has clean track and working turnouts, then operations can take off from there.
That's absolutely true, but I will add the other important part of our population, which is that there's a number of people here who don't have their own layout. Okay, that doesn't mean they're not model railroaders per se, but they're here because they're interested in operations, and they may not be as interested in clinics on rail joiners or what have you, right? So we're symbiotic siblings, I think is the best way to say it right now. Maybe I'll come up with a better word later. But yes, this is a hobby that in many ways stands alone. Foundation is another good concept, sure.
Thank you, sir.
Okay,
Thank you,
I
Ben.
have a I see a question out here from Jonathan Esposito. Jonathan, are you still on? The question is, do layouts have to be associated with the OPSIG to be recognized by the, I'm assuming by the program? And the answer is no, they don't have to be an OPSIG or associated with the OPSIG. It has to be an operations-based layout that you can apply that you've done, you've met the criteria on. There is no
Well,
OPSIG component. We'd like everybody to be an OPSIG member, but you don't have to be recognized by the OPSIG or the layout does not have to be recognized by the OPSIG.
and I will append that, Rick, if I may, by saying that
Sure.
we don't take ourselves too seriously. Model railroading is fun. I think we're going to draw a line just above Brio. I mean, it hasn't come up
Right,
yet,
right.
right? Right, but you know, but you'll see more detail as you delve into the website. But yes, there are some thresholds. But again, we're trying to be flexible and reasonable. Layouts can be large and small, and it's going to be a case by case in some of these unusual examples. But no official affiliation other than the members need to be members.
Right. Okay, with that, we have 2 minutes left, so I think we have time for maybe one or two more questions.
Larry, I have a question.
Sure.
Paul, how would an individual validate what he's done in applying for a certain award?
Well, each one's a little bit different. When you go onto the website, you'll see that there's an application, right? And we're going to rely heavily on the honor system because, again, we're not licensing anybody, and we don't think it's the kind of thing that people are likely to fabricate a body of work. But in each application, there's an ask that you explain what the circumstance is that is leading you to ask for credit. For example, if you're talking about the C&E exam, excuse me, the C&E award, the exam's not ready, but the other parts of it, hey, you acted as a conductor and engineer some number of times. We'd like you to list those number of times. Those people who have done it hundreds of times, we're not going to ask for a list. We know who you are. So it's very much a relaxed case by case explanation of your body of work and the dates and so forth. We will do some validating where it seems to make sense. But overall, we're encouraging you to be detailed with us and to be honest. And I think that's going to work very well. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does, Paul.
Yeah. And again, go to the website and you'll see more specificity. And there might be some back and forth on each of these awards as we try to establish what you've done, but gentle and friendly and respectful and honoring the process.
All right. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. We're at time. And if you would like to see a Q&A session for more about the AP program or any other things that we've talked about, shoot me an email, president@opsig.org. We'll get something set up. We want to make the AP program something that's, as Paul said, not the whole audience. We want to get people interested and provide that opportunity. Again, thank you for your time. If you have any feedback as well, shoot me an email. And everybody enjoy your Sunday. Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Bye-bye.